Hey guys, Grumpy here with episode 32 of our Zero to Hero Let's Play as Mercury Guy. So a lot of things happened in between the previous episode and this one, so I want to show you a couple of clips. I hope you enjoy. So in this first clip, we're designing the Paragon. Normally I build the Paragon using Tachyon Lances, but in this case I ended up with more Plasma Cannons than Tachyons for some reason. So it's 4 Plasma Cannons, 2 Ion Beams, and then 2 Hyper Velocity Drivers. And then I make room for Augment Drive Field so the Paragon doesn't slow down the rest of my fleet. This Paragon design will be changed a little later on, so don't worry about that. Next up, we have the Strike. The Strikes were dying to a lot of missile spam, so in order to counter that, I ended up adding Shield Conversion Front, which extends the Shield Arc to now 300 instead of the 180 or 120 that they start with. So that should help there. Next up, we found a Fury, which is a pretty nice find. But more importantly, we found a Legion 14. So this is an excellent ship for station busting, and we'll put it to use a little later on. Next up, we find a Combat Drone Replicator. So this is a domain artifact. It increases your ground defenses by 1.5. And then also in a salvage, we find an Alpha Core, as well as the Hegemony Blueprint and an Apogee. So all really great finds. And then I make the biggest mistake of all. I hit take all, continue, and then I scan the new debris. And I, for some reason, didn't learn the mod spec as soon as I got it. So we ended up, of course, with a duplicate. Learn your mod specs when you get them. Next up, we are on Kitten, which is an OK Worlds. Interesting affixes, a good mix. We found an administrator here. This administrator is really good because they have the industrial planning perk, which gives +1 to all industries. So we'll put them to use once we end up putting them to use to get the +1. And then the really nice thing is we explore this orbital habitat, and we end up finding the Luddic Path Blueprint package, which means we can now print our own brawlers. We don't have to rely on trying to find them anymore, which is such a nice quality of life. Next up, going into these officers, we found 2 officers. So here, first we have Lunar. Nothing particularly interesting, but they do have Ballistic Mastery and Gunnery Implant. Both of those extend the range of ballistic weapons by 25% combined, which is really nice. So you can put them on a capital ship, and then really just emphasize that range of ballistic weapons. So great for onslaught. They also have polarized armor there, which is really cool. But really nice for an onslaught. And then also we have Cameron. Again, not really how I would build an officer, but they at least have system expert and missile specialization. So both rare perks, really nice to have. But again, we'll look to replace these officers when we can. Also, they have all been leveled up to level 5. I got called out in the comments for that. So they are leveled up now. Next up, we have a fight against pirates. I don't exactly know what they were thinking. Maybe they couldn't see the Paragon, but they end up flying into me, and it's a pretty decisive victory. Here's a clip of me using the Paragon as a CQC ship. I end up getting a triple kill with the Paragon here. This is not typically how I would use the Paragon, but I was just having so much fun in it. I rarely use it, so I was really like pushing into the enemy here. Using all 4 plasma cannons to really do a lot of damage. The cool thing with the plasma cannons, and the way I designed this Paragon, is that they have advanced turret gyros. So the plasma cannons do a lot of shield damage. Because they're energy weapons, they do 100% shield damage. And because the turrets rotate so fast, you can target small ships like frigates and still do a surprising amount of shield pressure to them. Like this Wolf, even though it's a fast and maneuverable ship, because my turrets rotate so quickly and because I have really good auto fire accuracy, it has no problem almost overloading that ship. Yeah, so pretty decisive victory here. We take out the Eradicator, then the Mule, the Condor. It was a nice little refreshing fight, and there you see all the casualties. Nothing particularly interesting. We don't spend the story points to recover any of the ships, and that's the loot haul. We end up putting back some metals there because we were a little over on capacity. Yeah, bad day to be a pirate. This is the first bounty that we fought. Pretty small bounty. The only thing notable here is the champion, and we go on to win this fight pretty easily, just because we outnumber them so dramatically. We end up losing one strike, but we do get their champion at least, so that's fine. We lose a strike in the fight. We don't lose it permanently. We were able to recover it, thankfully. Next up, though, is a much larger bounty. This one was a lot harder. So here we have a Conquest, a Dominator, a Fury, and a Harbinger. Those 4 ships working in tandem are devastating. So it took a little maneuvering and some positioning to separate them. But in the end, we end up winning this fight. I included this clip because it highlights the danger of a Harbinger. So if you don't know, the Harbinger's special ability is that it can disrupt a ship, temporarily overloading it. What I end up doing in this clip is I push forward with the Paragon into the Conquest, and I notice my soft flux is building up. So I take an opportunity to turtle up, use the Fortress Shield, and wait for the soft flux to dissipate down and then start re-engaging. And the Harbinger comes in, uses its special ability, and completely removes my shields. Thankfully, there are no missiles incoming, so we don't lose the Paragon. But like in the at the right moment, it could disrupt your or the wrong moment, it could disrupt your shields and just leave you as a sitting duck there. So be very careful when engaging with Harbingers. Anyway, we end up winning. We lose another strike in the scuffle, but we get their Harbinger, and then we also get a Conquest. It costs us an Omen, but I think that's a pretty fair trade. Nothing remarkable in the spoils, no good weapons, but we carry on.
So with those highlights out of the way, we can go ahead and jump into the campaign. There's something that I want to address right off the bat, and that's with colonies. I think in the previous episode I talked about setting up 2 sets of heavy industry in order to bolster production. You can do that, but I thought about it, and after a while I ended up redesigning my colonies. So here on Banshee, I still went with the heavy industry, upgraded to orbital works. So now we have the orbital works with the pristine nanoforge that we found. We installed it in there, so we're producing a ton of heavy industry supplies as well as heavy armaments. We also have the administrator that we found, so they have +1 industry, so we're also getting bonuses there, as well as fuel production. We're producing 6 fuel, so the reason we're doing fuel production on Banshee is because we can install the AI, not the AI core, the domain artifact, the synchrotron core. I can never pronounce it. The synchrotron core, it adds +3 to your fuel production, but it requires no atmosphere. So that's why we're doing it here on this planet instead of on our gas giant where the volatiles are coming from. We do have pirate activity in Ludd cells, which we'll talk about a little later. I need to clean this up because obviously this planet's not operating at peak efficiency. Next up on Wraith, instead of going for heavy industry, I ended up demolishing it and instead opting to upgrade the patrol HQ into a military base. So now we're producing Marines here. These Marines are enough to cover the rest of our planets, so I thought that was a good idea. It reduces in-demand faction across the worlds there, so that's really nice. Again, you want your colonies to be self-sufficient. You want them all to feed each other, so that's why I'm going with the military base over the heavy industry. And then next up, finally on Cheeseburger, these are the industries that I want. I don't think I'm going to make any changes. Aquaculture providing a ton of food for the rest of our colonies, just feeding everybody there, as well as we're mining, so we're getting organics out, which is really nice. Our growth is really great, so we're almost at colony size 5 already. And once this is colony size 5, then the next industry we're going to build is going to be light industry, and that's going to take care of the domestic goods, luxury goods, as well as the recreational drugs for this colony and for the rest of them. So that's the path that we're going down. But in this episode, we're going to focus on station busting. We have pirate activity right now, and on Banshee specifically, there's Luddic path cell activity. So let's go clean those up. Let's go help our colonies out. That begins with putting together a fleet that can tackle tackle stations. All right. So we're gonna take out the Legion. We're gonna take out the Conquests and the Dominators, as well as the Champions. Now, when it comes to station busting, there's not really room for smaller ships like frigates and destroyers. You really just want to focus on bringing capitals and cruisers. Do still bring a couple of small ships, just in case you get into combat before you get to the station. You don't want to really go into combat with just capitals and cruisers. You can, but sometimes there can be large pirate fleets or Luddic path fleets in those systems, and they can outnumber your ships to the point where they'll be able to flank your capitals and cruisers and take them out. So do still bring a small fleet, but when it comes to the actual battle station, you're probably not going to use these ships. Alright. Do we have enough crew? Yeah, okay, yeah, we do have enough crew. Oh, thank goodness. Alright. So let's go ahead and design these for station busting. Oh, I guess at some point I started this. So this is a good design for station busting. So we have three hyper velocity drivers. They're going to apply shield pressure at a distance. We have MERVs here. Do we have cyclones? Yeah, let's actually swap these out for cyclones. We're gonna go with the Cyclone Reaper launchers. MERVs are really good against mobile targets, large mobile targets, but the battle station being stationary means that the Reapers have an easier time landing. So it's definitely worth bringing Reapers. Also, MERVs are really good at projecting power through ships, but because in the battle station fight, there's going to be only a few ships on the battlefield. You don't really have to worry about ships getting in front of your Reapers and cutting off line of sight. Let's actually put these in vents. So our flux dissipation is above our weapon flux, and we don't really worry about point defense because going against battle stations, there's not going to be really other ships on the battlefield, so you don't have to worry about protecting the flanks of the Legion. I do prefer the Legion over the Legion 14 over the standard Legion because the 14-1 is up armored, and then 2 has these large missile slots over the regular Legion, which has large ballistic slots. So that's just my preference. If this was the default Legion, I would use Hellboars here instead of the Cyclone Reapers. Next up, we have Piranhas. So Piranhas, really good against stationary targets. They drop a bomb bay, they drop 10 at a time, and then they come back and do another run. There's 3 in a pack, so there's 30 bomb bays being launched, and then each individual projectile does 400 high explosive damage. So they can very, very, very easily take down an armored target if you can get the shields off the ship. I mean, off the target. Then expanded missile racks, expanded deck crew, and then integrated targeting unit just to maximize that range. Next up, we have a conquest and the sister ship. So it looks like, okay, we just need to invert this. So we need to put the ion beam on this side. We need to put a squall in. And then the Hellboys need to be on the other side. The reason I do this is because I don't want the conquests to get in each other's ways, and if they're oriented like the opposite direction of each other, then one will travel with the battle station clockwise, and the other one will travel with the battle station counterclockwise. So really nice there. They don't tend to overlap too much. Alright, so that's taken care of. Oh, we're missing one mauler. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and add a mauler in. And then I have 45. Oh, that's not good. I'm missing something. What am I missing? Probably some point defense somewhere. Oh, I'm not missing anything. I just don't have the points allocated. Oh, okay. Alright. The Dominators, I think I already have a build for that. I don't. So let's go ahead and design one real quick. Again, Hellbore Cannons in the larges. In the smalls, we'll just do Repoint Launchers. Up here, we'll do Hypervelocity Drivers. We have Integrated Targeting Unit and Heavy Armor. We'll also include Hardened Shields. And then the rest will be Capacity and Vents. And we'll name this one, not Rocket, but Station Buster. And we'll remove the support one and replace that with that. Again, built similar to how we would build the Legion, the default Legion, so Hellbores and Reapers, as well as some high velocity drivers. We don't worry about the flanks because going against a battle station, there's not going to be other ships on the battlefield. Alright, these all stay the same. The strikes stay the same. The champions, we'll go with a Merv and a Tachyon. Actually, you know what? We'll go with Cyclone. We'll bring in Squalls actually. We'll put Squalls on the champions just because they'll be able to apply constant shield pressure, and the Squalls come with 160 rounds, so we don't have to worry about expanded missile racks on those. And then as far as weapons go, I guess the Tachyon Lance is fine. We don't need Aug Drive Field anymore. We can go with Stabilized Shields. Yeah, that's fine. And make sure that our vents are close to our weapon flux per second. Remove that. We want the hypervelocity driver. Stabilized shields. Hardened shields, that's what we need. And then it's 15 and 26. The numbers don't have to match exactly, so don't worry about these. You just want to make sure your flux dissipation is near enough to the weapon flux per second. Alright, these are fine. And then also some monitors, just in case we run into a scuffle with a smaller fleet. And this is it. This would be a fleet that I use for station busting. Very effective here. Gets the job done. Let's go ahead and finish organizing these. Let's bring it in. Alright. And bring in the monitors. Okay, yeah, so this would be kind of the firepower that I bring to go fight a battle station. Lots of Hellbores, lots of hypervelocity drivers so that we can burst down its shields. In fact, these don't need to be maulers, these need to be hypervelocity drivers. Now Maulers. Yeah, these need to be hyper velocity drivers. So that we can damage the shields at a distance. And then a lot of high explosive damage, so that we can quickly eliminate it after we bring those shields down. The Tachyon lances are okay. You don't really have to bring them. I just don't have another like high energy weapon that I would want to bring. Maybe plasma cannons instead, but you know what? Yeah, let's go for that. Let's go for plasma cannons. Ugh, yikes. Yeah, let's let's instead keep the tachyon lenses there. Alright, but this would be the fleet. Let's go ahead and repair. It's going to be very costly, but at this stage of the game, we don't really care about supplies. It's not really too much, or too difficult for us to get more. At this point of the game, you can start borrowing resources from your colonies. It is going to cost you a lot. Like if I wanted to borrow all of this fuel, it would cost me 75,000 a month. But when you think about it, that's how much your fuel would cost if you bought it from another colony, right? Instead of from borrowing it from your own. So you're not really saving any money by flying into the core worlds. Maybe you can get fuel for like 17, which would be a little cheaper, but you have to consider the amount of fuel that it takes to get back to the core worlds that you'll burn up, and then the amount of fuel you'll burn up on the way back, right? So just borrow from your colony. You pay this at the end of the month. This would be how much you would spend anyway. It's just done as one lump sum. The same thing for supplies. You just pay the at rate cost. The only thing I would say don't borrow from your colony is crew, because you can get crew for very cheap and very plentiful supply from Umbra or Chalcedon or like any of the pirate factions. Crew here costs 50. Crew from them costs anywhere from like 6 to 12. But everything else you can pretty much borrow from yourself, and you don't really have to worry about it. Not volatiles though. You can get volatiles from Umbra, but you rarely need volatiles anyway, so that one's up to you. Alright. So with this out of the way, we need to, with our fleet put together, we need to go find out where the stations are, the pirate stations, where this activity is coming from. And the way you do that is you go to the bar, and there will usually be something here, someone here willing to tell you, yeah, exactly, where the pirate base is. So that's the pirate base found. If we press the E key and we go to colony threats, we know that it's in Gamma Brea, so we need to head over there. And then similarly, to find the Pather base, we're gonna head over to Banshee because that's the planet having pirate issues, or having Pather issues. So if we go to the bar, there should be someone there willing to tell us where the Pather base is. Yeah, make eye contact with the Pather and walk out into the back alley. Agree to her terms, and she's gonna tell us exactly where it is. Yep, so this one is in Delta Sergana. Nice. Alright, so we're gonna grab a little fuel. Oh, we have an AI core. Is there anywhere? No, we're not gonna install the AI core anywhere. But let's grab a little fuel and then let's head out. Maybe not that much. Let's maybe grab like 2,000. Alright. Any, mini, miny, mo. We'll deal with the Pathers first. Oh, because we found blueprints, we found a couple of blueprints. We're gonna go ahead and print off some ships. So as far as cruisers go, we're gonna grab an Aurora, and then as far as frigates go, we're gonna go and grab a couple of brawlers. I'll print 4 for now, and this is fine. This is the production capacity I was talking about. So we have an order value right here of 240,000. What this means is we can only put 150k into our order value at a time. So this will take 2 months to produce all of these ships. If it was less than 150, then it would only take 1 month. Alright. Now that we have colonies and blueprints, it's going to be a lot easier to tailor a fleet to specifically what we need. You know what? You're lucky we're busy. Let's actually deal with the pirate base first. Because the pirates are affecting all 3 of our planets, was the Pathers only affecting 1 planet. Alright, let's go deal with that. Also, let's set up this. In case you didn't know, you can select which ships your patrol fleets use by going into the Doctrine and Blueprint page. So if we go over here to cruisers, I selected Auroras and Apogees. So if I hit regenerate a couple times, yeah, we should see Aurora start to pop up. You want to go in there occasionally as you find newer blueprints so that you can build better fleets, which will make raids less successful against you, because all those battles are auto-resolved, and basically the person that brings more ships and better ships to the fight wins usually. So improving your fleet is also going to make raids less effective against you. Alright, so there are pirates in this fleet, I heard, in the system. This is a relatively small system, but if this was a bigger system, I'll show you how to easily find where a base is. The base is right there. I could tell because it was showing up on the sensor screen. But say this was a really large system, right, like really spread out. What you can do is you can break one of their buoys. Take control of it or break it, doesn't matter. And what'll happen is there will be pirates coming in from a certain direction. Whatever direction they come in from is probably where the base is. So just head back in the direction they came from and you'll be able to locate the base pretty easily. Alright. Do you have anything of interest before we destroy you? Not really. You have ion pulsers. We'll take those. You can always use more ion pulsers and railguns. Do you have any admins? No. Or officers? You have a pirate mule. Not really interested in that. Alright. So we'll go ahead and consider our military options. Maybe we can wait until that's out of range. There we go. Alright, so we'll engage the orbital station. Pretty small orbital station, not fully developed, so this should be a walk in the park. We'll go ahead and transfer over to... You know what? Let's fly the Legion. Alright, we'll continue the battle. And then for this fight, of course, I'm just going to deploy the capitals and cruisers. We could bring in the monitors, but I don't think the monitors will be necessary. If the fight for some reason starts to turn against us, then we'll bring in the monitors to kind of control the battle. Alright. We'll activate burn drive here so we can get into the fight a little faster. Alright. Now, when piloting a carrier, you have to use the Z key to engage and regroup your forces. Alright. So we'll go ahead and target the station whenever we can. Settings. Oh, right. Okay. I was like, why is my Legion canting to the side? It's because I have the invert behavior turned on. Alright. Yeah, you see the bringing all the hypervelocity drivers already flux out this main armament, and it's pretty much lights out for this already. Let's see if we can get in here though before the rest of our fleet steals all the glory. Let's fire off our Reapers. Yeah, not an issue. You see our conquests are on opposite sides of the battle station. That's what you want to see. You don't really want to see them grouped together. Alright, yeah. Very easy. Now, you don't need a fleet that large, obviously, to take on a battle station like this. We probably could have got away with just the 2 Dominators and the Legion. Maybe a Conquest, but that's it. Once you destroy the battle station, you'll get a reward. Um, we got 1500 for that. Usually it's a lot larger than that. But you'll get a reward from whatever faction had a bounty on that station, and then 2, that will immediately end the pirate activity on your colonies. If there's a raid going on, I think it also ends the raid. So sometimes it may be better to um, kind of sneak out of your system and go destroy a pirate base versus trying to take on the large pirate raids that will occupy your system. Alright, so that's done. Let's go ahead and take care of the Pather base, and then we'll conclude the episode. So unfortunately, there's nothing you can do to stop pirate raids and Pather activity and Pather bases in vanilla. Um, they'll just exist. They pop up periodically. You can reduce the frequency of them though, at least Pather bases. If you don't use AI cores, and if you limit how much mining you do and like tech related industry, um, like high industry, so like heavy industry, orbital works, light industry, things like that. If you limit those industries, then you're less likely to get attacked by the Pathers and less likely to spawn a base. Oh, okay. So this is a little larger system. I suspect it's over here though. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and break this, and then we're just gonna see where the Pathers come from. Okay, looks like they come from here and here. Alright, so that's a little bad example. But we'll check this way first because that was the closest one to us. With the 7 key. We don't see anything, so we'll go back the other way. Alright, there it is. So same thing, you can fight it with other fleets nearby, and especially with this fleet we could probably take it on. But if you're concerned about that, you can just try to fight them. You can try to like separate them and go fight them elsewhere and then come back to the base. Alright. Do you have any interesting weapons? You have ion pulsers, some PD lasers, and some harpoons. This is all pretty good. We'll take that. Do you have any officers? You don't. And then do you have an interesting mission? No. Okay. So we'll go ahead and consider our military operations. This station is a little more put together, but again, it's not going to be a problem. Just deploy your capital ships and your cruisers, and you'll take it out. Alright, we'll engage the orbital station. We'll transfer command. Let's take a Dominator this time. Dominator is a little faster ship. Oh, also make sure you use your officers. I realize as we round off this episode that my officers are not in any of these ships. Thankfully, we have support doctrine, so all the ships that don't have officers in them still get helmsman, combat endurance, and a couple of other perks. All right. We'll go ahead and put auto fire on our Hellbore, and then we'll switch over to our missile channel by hitting 2. Alright, and then we'll line up a target there. You can target each one of these pieces individually. So if you see that one is being overloaded, then you can move on to the next one. I guess I should explain how battle stations work. Battle stations come with modules on them. So they usually rotate and they come with modules on them. Each module has its own armaments, has its own health and hull. And then battle stations can be upgraded to different tiers. So I believe this is a tier 1 battle station. So it doesn't have anything special about it. It's just a rack of guns, essentially. Each rack has its own shield, things like that. As they move up in tier, they gain special abilities, and they also gain additional armor to protect the each module. Also, they start taking on different shapes as they tier up. The higher tiers, they rotate faster, and they also have larger health pools on each module. To kill a battle station, you have to destroy each module. So that is one piece already down. Oh, we're not going to get any of the kills, are we? Alright. The way the modules work is typically they target whatever is the closest to you. So in this case, we're probably going to take a lot of fire from the module as it rotates. I don't necessarily know if I want to be here. I probably want to let my conquest tank this, but it's fine. It's already almost overloaded, so we can push this far. Still be okay. Let's go ahead and fire our Reapers off. Nice. We get it to overload. And then let's go ahead and burn over here. This is the power of the Squall. The Squall shoots through us, so we do interrupt the Tachyon Lance, which is kind of rude, but the Squall will at least continue to apply pressure to the shields. Let's actually back away. It's not really need to be that close. And again, this station goes down without much of a fight. Pick through the wreckage here, nothing notable. Alright. Again, we get miserable pay. Usually you get anywhere from like 40 to 80k, depending who has the bounty out. Because these bases were only affecting our colonies, nobody else had a bounty on them. But if we check like the bounty screen, yeah, pirate base 50k, pirate base 50k. Usually you get paid out a lot more for those. Alright. But I'm gonna end the episode here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Moving forward, the episodes should come out a little more regularly. It does take a while though to gather all the film that I need to edit it down into one episode. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed a little station busting with the new fleet. Hope that was helpful for you guys. Don't be afraid of stations. They are pirate and Pather stations. They're not too well put together. They're just tier 1s. The colony, the core world ones though, those battle stations are a little more difficult. So you do have to be a little more concerned there. Plus there'll be patrol fleets that you have to deal with. But Pather and pirate bases are really just more annoying than anything. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Other than that, Grumpy out.